Hi guys, so today I'm going to be telling you about my favourite contemporary reads for 2016. These books didn't necessarily come out in 2016, although I think one of them at least did, but they were books that I read during 2016 that I really enjoyed, and these are kind of the contemporaries that I would definitely recommend to you guys if you're looking for a good one. Prior to 2016, I don't think, to be honest, I'd ever read YA contemporary ever. It was just not a genre that I was very familiar with, and watching BookTube just got me really excited about it, and there were a whole bunch of books that were contemporaries that I wanted to read. So I've had a really good time in 2016 at picking up a few different ones, and these were definitely my favourites, and it's now a genre that I really enjoy, and it has some of my favourite authors. So I am not doing these in any particular order. I couldn't possibly rank them from favourite to least favourite. Most of these that I'm going to mention, I think possibly all of them, I rated 5 stars on Goodreads. If I have any full reviews of any of these books, I will link them down below if you want to know more about them. So first of all, I think this video would not be complete without mentioning, of course, Rainbow Rowell, who's probably my new favourite author of all time. I read a lot of her books during 2016, and these three, I think it was these three plus Kindred Spirits, which just because it was shorter I think I didn't enjoy it as much, but plus Carry On, which is a fantasy book. So these were the 3 contemporaries of hers that I read. There's one more, Landline, which I don't know if it's entirely contemporary, and I know it's an adult novel rather than YA. I think Attachments is also meant to be adult, or like new adult rather than YA, but I'm including it here because I think young adults would enjoy it too. Landline is one that I haven't read, so aiming to do that during 2017. But I read all of these this year, totally enjoyed them. The first one that I picked up, and I think this was the first contemporary novel that I read in 2016, so it kicked everything off to a really good start, was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. And this is fantastic. You've probably heard about it if you've been around on BookTube for a little bit. It's about a girl called Kath who starts university or college with her twin sister. Her twin sister's kind of trying to distance herself from the two of them. She doesn't want to be like just known as a twin anymore. So Kath's kind of on her own, and she's very shy and has a lot of social anxiety, which is something that I could relate to quite well, and I think possibly a lot of us on BookTube felt the same way. She writes fan fiction, which is really cool, and it just kind of follows her first year away at college. So I really enjoyed this book. It's phenomenal, and I could really strongly relate to Kath, and I think a lot of other people can. Also, I have to mention Attachments, which is, like I said, more of a new adult, but it's about a guy. It's set in the year 1999, like right before the new millennium, which is really cool because there were a lot of things that I remembered from that year included in this book. It's about a guy who works in an office, and it's his job to kind of security check emails and make sure that people aren't using email inappropriately. And there are 2 women who converse by email, 2 of the office workers, and he kind of gets sucked into their story that he doesn't report them and doesn't warn them about using email inappropriately. So it's kind of interesting. It's in a slightly creepy kind of way. He's kind of watching them from afar through reading their emails. So that's kind of what this book is about, and I highly recommend it. It's really fantastic. And then the third one is Eleanor and Park. This is about a couple of kids in high school called Eleanor and Park, and I don't know, they get to talking from sitting next to each other on the bus, and I mean, it's a romance. I'm not going to say too much else about it because the story kind of unfolds really slowly, but I really enjoyed this one. In my review that I did on it, I mentioned how it gave me Jacqueline Wilson vibes, so if you liked Jacqueline Wilson books when you were a kid, I think you would like this one too. So moving on from Rainbow Rowell, some of my other favourite contemporaries for the year included This Is Where the World Ends by Amy Zhang. I got this from a YA Chronicles subscription box, and I really enjoyed it. It flits between the past and the present, and you're kind of you spend the whole book trying to work out what's happened. It's about 2 kids called Janie and Mika, and they're best friends, but no one knows that they're best friends, and something terrible has happened, and you spend the whole book trying to work out what that was. And it flits between journal entries from Janie and then Micah, who's kind of a bit of an unreliable narrator because you don't know exactly what's going on with him, and it's just a really fantastic book. It made me cry hysterically. It was that good. and that it's like very, very heavy and very, very sad, but it's beautifully written and one of the best books definitely that I read in 2016. Then of course I couldn't have a contemporary reads video without mentioning More Happy Than Not, although there is a slight like dystopian kind of element to it because there is a service in this book where people can go and have their memories removed if they don't want to remember certain things that have happened to them or whatever, so there's that element to it, but otherwise it's, I would say, a contemporary novel. It's about a guy, he meets this guy called Thomas and they form a friendship, and yeah, I don't want to say too much more about this because it completely blew my mind. The plot, like the story, kind of didn't go the direction that I thought it was going to at all. Even as I was reading it, I was thinking, okay, I think I kind of know what's going to happen here, and then it completely flipped and like screwed with my mind. It was amazing. So I recommend you go into this reading it not knowing anything about it. I would say don't even read like a synopsis on it, just go into it and start reading and you'll be sucked in and you get so emotionally attached to this book, and I can't wait for Adam Silvera's other books that are coming out this year. I'm so excited for them because he is such a fantastic writer. The last couple books that I want to mention aren't ones that I have physical copies of yet because I just haven't got around to purchasing them yet. One is The Girl Who Fell by Shannon M. Parker. That is about a dysfunctional relationship and how a teenage girl is dealing with that, and it's just really, really fantastically written and about a really important issue that I don't think we see in YA literature often enough. I did do a kind of discussion video where I talked a little bit more about this book, and yeah, I rated it 5 stars. It's amazing. If it's something that you feel like you need advice for or anything like that, totally recommend this book because it really kind of lays it out in a clear way where you kind of understand how these things can happen and how you should possibly deal with them. The last one that I'm going to mention is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. Firstly, I would say that I watched the film for this after I read the book. I'm really glad I watched it after because I really didn't like the film. It just gives a totally different mood and a totally different vibe to what the book does. So as much as I am recommending the book, I really didn't like the movie that much, but I really, really enjoyed the book. It's amazing. It's surprisingly lighthearted, even though it is somewhat about a dying girl, as the title suggests. I just found Jessie's writing style really, really unique and something I hadn't really seen before, so I really enjoyed that about it, and it was a fantastic book. I can't really say that much more about it. I think I reviewed it. If I did, I'll leave a link to the review down below. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really like different and like funny read. So yeah, that is all of my favorite contemporaries for the year. I'm gonna do some more of these videos talking about my favorite fantasy books of the year, my favorite non-fiction, and I think my favorite like classics or literary fiction, something like that as well, because yeah, I love watching other people's videos of these because I think you get some really solid recommendations out of it because you're seeing people's absolute favorites. And I was going to do like just one overall favorites video, but I think that it's better to break it down by genre because I couldn't pick like only 2 of these and 2 from each genre because I love all of these books. If you have any contemporaries that you read during 2016 that you really, really loved, please leave them in the comments down below as well because I'm always looking for new recommendations, especially since contemporary is, I feel like it's still a genre that I'm a little bit unfamiliar with. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in a couple of days with another one. Bye.